Hey everybody, how you doing? Well, that's good. Welcome to PHLY Flyers presented by Mortgage CS. Check out mortgagecs.com/PHLY to start your home buying process today. Company NMLS ID number 1464766. My name is Bill Matz. I'm your director of fun and games for the evening, and we are live here at the Chegg, the Chicken or the Egg in Marlton, New Jersey, and this is the PHLY Flyers trade deadline extravaganza. Joining me today, we have the one and only JP Zapata, as well as Broad Street Hockey's own Kelly Hinkle, and we have breaking news right to kick it off. The Philadelphia Flyers have acquired the first overall draft pick from 2006, Eric Johnson, for a fourth-round pick.
That was really well done.
That was good.
He's 35. He's not that good anymore. We'll see how this goes. It doesn't seem to be a great sign for Rasmus Ristolainen's return or Jamie Drysdale or whatever the case might be. But that's the trade they made right before we went on the air. The Flyers have also flipped Wade Allison. Remember him? They flipped him to Nashville for Denny Gurianov, who is also 26. He's not terrible. I mean, he's got like 30. He's got 40 points in 37 AHL games. He's been okay.
Sure.
He might be better than Wade Allison. I don't really think it matters, but they did it. We're going to get into all the trade deadline action. We're going to break down all the moves. We've already talked about Sean Walker, Nick Seeler, the brokering the Hannafin trade, all the things Danny Briere did leading up to today. But I have to start with last night. Kelly Hinkle, I did not get a chance to talk to you on the air about last night's game. I know JP and I watching it at the studio and then doing post-game. I have not felt that way in a long, long time. I'm saying Phil Myers in overtime against the Isles in the bubble.
Yeah.
Like, maybe JP was jumping up and down. I was just freaking out, man. I have not felt this way about a Flyers team in a while, and it feels damn good.
It feels really good. I actually fell asleep early last night because I'm a little bit sick. And so I knew the score this morning when I woke up, and I put the game on, and you know how you kind of fast forward through the shit. Anyway, got to the point where I knew that they were going to score, and even though I knew it was coming, I was still like, and when it happened, I did feel like physical joy in a way that I haven't felt in a very long time.
It is so damn exciting. And Kelly, later in the show, we're going to do Stanley Cup picks.
Yes.
And I put in the outline, like, we know who yours is going to be, Hanks. But
you didn't have to tell me.
I tweeted this last night. Why not us?
Why not?
I mean, I know it is far-fetched. I know it's a ridiculous. They just traded maybe their most effective overall defenseman on the season. But there's just something special about this team. I don't know if it's going to result in a trip to the Eastern Conference Final, to the Cup Final, parade down Broad, any of that. But every time this team has been given the option to bail, to crumble, as they have in years past, they've done the opposite. They have stepped up. Last night, they go into Florida, beat the best team in the NHL. This is freaking exciting, man.
Still buzzing after last night. What a win! And listen, Bill, Charlie's not here. We don't have to be realistic here. We can we can be a little outlandish here. Let's bring the parade on to Philadelphia. No, listen, last night was a lot of fun. It's still buzzing after that and this morning, man. And it's just the fact that, listen, we know who the Florida Panthers are, and the Flyers have had success with them, but it still feels good seeing the way they won. Garnet Hathaway getting the win right in closing seconds of the game.
Nice.
It was a lot of fun, and it just – it feels so good to talk Flyers hockey. We got orange and black here at the Chicken and the Egg.
Yeah,
we
shout out to everyone who's joined us right here to kick off the show. Awesome to have some of the PHLY fam joining us out here at the Chegg. We're here in Marlton, New Jersey, the Chicken or the Egg, and it is it's a cool scene, man. That people, I see kids walking around wearing Flyers stuff.
It's good.
I go to Wawa today. Everyone's got their gear. It feels like something's happening, and I know. Like, it's still not a lock that they make the playoffs. There's still a lot up in the air. This team, they did, again, like, sell Sean Walker. But, like, I just have this good feeling about we're going to see something special down the stretch here and then maybe into the playoffs.
We have said, or I guess I have said thousands of times, that hockey is at least 50% vibes. It's a weird game. So many things are bounces. So many things are luck. So many things are momentum. So many things are just like the puck falling the right way for you when you need it to. And that hasn't been happening for the Flyers, I think, since you and I have been podcasting.
I say this to
they
Charlie.
Haven't been the lucky team.
Like, we've been doing this together since 2016, and the luck has been abysmal.
Yes,
that is the exact word.
Yeah.
It has been non-existent. To use the word luck would be a lie. It has been the opposite of whatever luck, like whatever the opposite of luck is. That's what the Flyers have in every possible facet. Injuries, off, like whatever could go wrong has for them.
Right.
And suddenly that's not the case. You know, we talked last night about Samuel Ersson and, I mean, the ridiculous circumstances to lead him to becoming the Flyers' #1 goaltender.
He looked so good last night.
He's went toe to toe with Sergei Bobrovsky last night and looked just as good.
Yes.
Beat him for the second time in a month. That is really, really exciting. And I want to get into some of Danny's moves a little later in the show, but just to think about some of the maybe underappreciated things at the time. Look who scores the goals last night. Ryan Poehling, Garnet Hathaway. When they signed Poehling, I thought, all right, it makes sense. He's youngish, has the first-round pedigree, tons of speed. We'll see if he can be something more. He has been very effective for the Flyers in his role this year. And you see Garnet Hathaway. That was a head-scratcher to me at the time. I thought, why can't that just be Wade Allison?
Right.
We need like a scrappy fourth liner who might score every now and then. I feel like we have that.
Yeah.
Well, we all know about Wade Allison and Torts, and now Allison finds himself in the Nashville organization. Hathaway has been one of the most fun players to watch on this team, and it was awesome to see him get that big goal last night.
Let me take another step here, because you mentioned something really interesting, and this morning I was writing in my drafts or in my tweets like what Danny Briere has done in year one. And you just look at that offseason that he just had. Poehling, Hathaway, Sean Walker, who we just flipped. That is an underrated, really good free agent that Danny Briere had in year one. And all pieces that were able to contribute to this team. We talked about that third line. Has been probably the best line, at least over the last month. And to be able to flip Sean Walker for a first-round draft pick. Danny B, I know we're not at the end of the deadline. We still got some time here. But, pat yourself on the back so far.
I mean, at the end of the day, he turned Ivan Provorov into Oliver Bonk, another first. And what else could you ask for? A dude who they didn't want and who probably didn't want to be here.
Yeah.
They got 2 first-round picks for him. I mean, you took on some salary in Cal Peterson, you took on some salary in Ryan Johansson, but end of the day, those are highly valuable assets that you acquired for a guy that neither side was happy.
Yeah.
I don't know how much better you can do. And back to Samuel Ersson, I totally forgot. In August, Danny extended his contract. He's got next year and the year after at $1.45 million. That might be a true #1 goalie for basically nothing. Double the league minimum, I can't say enough about what Danny has done. But let's get to some of the trade deadline stuff now. Let's start with this Eric Johnson move. They don't. It's their 4th round pick this year. They now don't have a 4th unless something else happens in the next little bit. We'll keep an eye. I don't love it. I gotta say, we're throwing all the flowers at Danny Briere. I mean, it's a 4th round pick for a guy who's going to play some. It doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things.
Nope.
But since they did kind of tell us we're still, I know we're going to make the playoffs, but we're still rebuilding. That's why we traded Sean Walker. Why not give Ginning and Adder the opportunity? Because I thought Ginning, he got hemmed in his own zone a little bit last night. He also made a great defensive play on a rush to break up a one-on-one, and he laid the hit of the year that kind of changed the game, won them. They took over after Ginning laid that hit.
It was a good hit.
Ronnie Adder, I thought, looked at least solid, if not better, last night. I realize Torts is not going to love the idea of playing kids who, weren't in your top 8 just a couple weeks ago.
2 NHL games.
2 of them. Combined, I think I did 18 games of NHL experience, 2 in the last 2 years. I get that he's not going to love that idea, but you just beat the Florida Panthers and held them to 1 goal.
Okay.
Why not see where this could go?
Okay, fair. However, let's go on the other side. We just said, why not us, right? Why not? Why couldn't they go on a little 2-round, little fun time in the playoffs this season? They could. Charlie mentioned on last night's post game last night's game was kind of like this group of players saying, like, yeah, you sold on us, but guess what? Fuck you. We're still going to win hockey games. And so I feel like this was just, you're not buying, you're not loading up for a playoff run. You're throwing a little bone. You're doing a little something. You're putting a Band-Aid on a pretty gaping wound that they have right now in the back end. And you're just saying, all right, listen, we're going to give ourselves a little bit of insurance, a little bit of the veteran presence that they all love so much, something that we can fall back on if Adam Ginning falls apart because he's played 2 NHL games. We have no idea how good he is. It's just a little something. I have a very hard time getting fussed about a 4th round pick. Like, I don't give a fuck. And also, like, I don't care that it was, Charlie on Twitter, I wouldn't have done it for more than a 5th. Charlie, please. Honestly, come on. Like, how often are you getting a markedly better player in the 4th than you would have gotten the 5th? It's very rare. Do you have a better shot in the 4th?
And just
sure.
In terms of,
but for fuck's sake, it doesn't matter.
Just in terms of, like, contracts and number of guys you can have, 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, or 3 seconds next year, depending on what Columbus does. We won't know till draft day. A 3rd, 2 5ths, 2 6ths, like, you can only have so many guys.
Right.
It's true.
You know, there's only so many spots for dudes, and a 4th round pick, I mean, the chances of him, whoever you take in the 4th round, becoming an NHLer are real damn low. We've fallen in love with these later picks from the Hextall era on. Like, oh, this guy's going to be the diamond, and then they're not in the organization. They're back in Europe. Like, they don't turn out. Yeah, you can get lucky.
I keep waiting for Pavel Datsyuk. He's not coming. He's not coming.
I don't have a problem with the price. I don't care what they paid for him. They have enough draft picks.
Whatever.
They had 2 firsts last year, 2 firsts this year, 2 firsts next year. Well, I'm going to get mad about a 4th. Like, you know, I don't care about the price. I couldn't care less about the price. It's just simply, why not? I know the answer is because that's not how we're going to do it.
Yeah.
But, we just have to accept that because I do like what's happening. Like, we got so many comments We got so many comments in the YouTube last night during postgame that were like, talk about Cam Atkinson. Why is he in the lineup? I'm like, listen, I guess that's a subject. Also, they just beat the best team in the league.
Chill.
I don't want him playing. There's probably better options. Going 11 forwards might be a better option, but
maybe.
Who cares? They won.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
So I'm not as upset at all. It's just
I really do think
about
it's kind
the price. It's just like, Eric Johnson, he's old as hell.
Yeah.
He's not that good. He's played 50 games, has no assists. He's never been.
Dude, that's honestly, instantly my favorite thing about him.
It's truly borderline impressive.
It is impressive.
Like
you could stand perfectly still on the ice for 50. Like, you're at some point the puck's gonna hit you.
Like, you never once just flipped it up and Casey Middlestat got under it and scored on a breakaway. Like, you didn't dump it in off the boards and someone banked one. Like,
he's got 3 goals.
It's 3 goals. Last year
scored goals,
and he's never gonna be. He was never an offensive guy.
Doesn't matter.
Since 2015-16, his career high in points, or since 2014-15, his career high in points is 27. You know, he hasn't been a 30-point guy since he was 25. He's now 35. He's not going to be here to score at all. But 11 points in the last 113 games doesn't seem like the guy who's going to help you.
I don't think he's actually expected to do anything. Okay, so if this is telling us that the Risto Drysdale situation is worse than we would have hoped, that means, let's just wipe them off the board for the first round. Let's just... worst case scenario, they're not going to be there for the first round. You need a warm body to stand on the back end just in case something happens to somebody else. And this is just a warm body. I think he's just there to be a guy. And it's fine. Because I do like the idea of there being a little teensy tiny, eensy beansy little bit of acknowledgement that this team is playing really well. And they might... At the very least...
Hey, we got you something.
Right.
I got you $1.
Right. At the very least, it's saying, listen, you guys don't have any defensemen. We noticed. Here's a guy just in case.
And there is something to... They tried Emil Andre. They don't think he's ready.
No.
They already have 2 rookies playing last night.
Zamula is like
there is something to. They only have 6.
Yeah,
like
right.
that's the minimum. They
You need
only
another
have
one.
6 healthy guys.
Yeah.
And
You
Cam
need those
York
guys.
got hurt last night. He came back. It seems as if he's okay, but
Knock on wood.
you can't play with 5. I know they've had
like a
some
bad
weird
idea.
lineups this year, but 5 is a stretch.
We're on
Although,
13 forwards.
And one of those
defensemen for
guys
now.
is Mark Stahl, who, I'll tell you, of all the dudes who made rookie mistakes last night, the old man was the one who made the most glaring errors.
He has some bad
He had a
penalties,
few
man.
He
passes.
stinks.
He's taken penalties. He threw a puck out in front of his own net last night. I was like, what was that, like Adder? Like, no, it was the vet who's here not to make. He's only out there to not make mistakes, and he's making them.
Wouldn't it be fun if like Torts was forced to go with like 4 forwards and 1 defenseman? Like he didn't have any choice but to go 4 forwards or do some wacky shit. Like remember when Florida used to go 5 forwards in the power? Like he had to do something like that just because there were no actual defensemen to play. That would be fun.
It would be. I thought last
It'll
night they
never
should
happen.
put all the forwards on D and all the D at forward.
I like it.
Because, like, what the hell was that line? I was also like, should I bet, like, Florida minus 3.5?
The
Like,
lines at the start of the game, the lines that were coming out at the start of the game, I was like, what are we? Okay.
Is this just going to be ugly? Like, looking at this blue line, but
It
much
really
the way,
should have
much the way I thought at the beginning of the year, looking at the blue line, like, oh, this is going to be a disaster. It was not. They basically played even with the Florida Panthers. They took over for stretches, and really, the second and third period, they were the better team.
Yeah, I mean, back to Eric Johnson, this kind of does feel like a nothing burger. I'm with you, Kelly. Like, I think it's more telling of Risto and Drysdale and what we have going forward for our defensemen. I mean, listen, we talked to Charlie last night. It doesn't seem like the organization's too sold on Jennings. Like, that was a great, listen, for what we needed last night, both Attard and Jennings stepped up huge. But, like, going forward, we can't just rely on those 2 rookies. So having some insurance here, I thought that was really smart. And it's funny because, like, I'm sure we've all got in our comment section, like, wondering what the Flyers are actually doing because, yes, we are rebuilding, but we are in a playoff spot. So that can be a little bit confusing. But, yeah, I mean, you're in a playoff spot. You don't want to sell big. But a move like this where you can give yourself some of that insurance, I think that's a good move. And that's why Danny is getting all the praise right now because of moves like this, thinking ahead. I love it.
And I will say about Eric Johnson, he was with Colorado when they won the Cup
That's
2
true.
years ago.
Knows how to win, baby.
Played 20 games,
Experience, valuable.
55 career playoff games, so he's got some experience that a lot of dudes on this roster just lack because of their age or they've been on horrible teams their whole careers, you know? Like the Sean Couturier, sure, Garnett Hathaway, but there's not a ton of guys with a lot of playoff experience, especially
valuable.
going deep. You know, Sean Couturier's never been out of the second round.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Like, you have someone who played in a cup final and won it.
Yeah.
He played 17 minutes a night for a team that won the cup just 2 years ago. So maybe he could be a bit of a help. I know people are saying he sucked in Buffalo this year. Also, Buffalo stinks.
I thought you were talking about
Buffalo.
Stahl.
We're talking about Buffalo here. No, but what else did we talk about last night? Building that culture. Maybe Eric could be a beneficial part of the culture going forward for just a small portion of the 23-24 season. But I think that veteran leadership can be extremely valuable going to according to the playoffs. So just relax. It's just a body here. I think that's what Danny got.
I don't care.
All right, we're going to take a quick second to tell you about our friends at Empire Today. Listen, if you're getting flooring anywhere but Empire Today, what are you doing? Honestly.
What are you doing?
First of all, legendary jingle, 1-800-588-2300, Empire.
Today.
With Empire Today, you get shop-at-home convenience, the right product for your needs, quick and professional installation, and a price match guarantee. Empire Today is the best place to get new flooring, so of course, you know, they've got copycats. But those copycats can't beat Empire Today on quality, service, and speed, so they just go ahead and advertise low-quality products that we just simply won't carry. Empire Today won't promise the lowest prices because anyone who does that is putting flooring in your home that they wouldn't put in their own. The Empire philosophy is to help you find what you need, not overwhelm you with thousands of choices and substitutes. What Empire leaves out of their selection is as important as what they put in. Empire's product team exhaustively combs through thousands of product samples each year to find the perfect styles to fit you, and the virtual floor designer is a great way to see how new floors will look in any space. It's easy, just snap a picture and instantly see how new floors will look in your room. Schedule a free in-home estimate today. All listeners can receive a $350 off discount when they use the promo code PHLY. Restrictions apply. See EmpireToday.com/PHLY for details. I got to remind you again, we are here at the Chicken and the Egg in Marlton. I got to tell you about some things they have coming up. First of all, next weekend, you know what it is? It's St. Patty's weekend.
Yeah.
St. Patty's is Sunday the 17th. Well, from Friday the 15th through Sunday, next weekend, it's the St. Patty's Weekend Bash here at the Chegg. Specials on Guinness, green tea shots, Jameson drinks, and car bombs, Shamrock martinis. It's going to be a hell of a time, St. Patty's.
Wild.
It's based on this place today. I bet you it's going to be popping in here. And Saturday, March 23rd, they've got breakfast with the Easter Bunny and an Easter Chegg hunt. And you can, at this, you can get a free framed photo with the Easter Bunny. Jay and Silent Bob, not invited. So make sure you plan your next couple of holiday weekends right here for the Chicken or the Egg, the Chegg here in Marlton, New Jersey. All right, let's backtrack a little. Let's go to the Sean Walker trade from a couple of days ago.
Sean.
We've already broken down, what it really means. Sean Walker goes to Colorado along with a 5th rounder in 2026. Gonna miss that one 2 years from now. The Avs send a 2025 first rounder and Ryan Johansson to the Flyers. Johansson has already been waived, and they're telling him, you're assigned to the Phantoms, but hold your horses. We'll figure something out. They haven't yet, it seems. I think if he has no future here whatsoever, the thing that makes the most sense is just tell him to go home and buy him out at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Don't give up assets for anything dumb for a guy that doesn't have a future here. Don't use a retention slot because that between him and Hayes both have Johansson signed through next year. So that only leaves you with one retention slot for next season.
Yeah.
So brokering a deal like they did with Hannafin kind of out the window with only one slot. Charlie wrote an article about what's going on. He spoke to Danny Briere in his press conference. He asked some questions about Johansson, and he talked to us a little on postgame last night. And, man, I don't think I've ever heard a GM just be like, we don't want him.
It's interesting, right?
It's really, and the way he put it is maybe I'll be able to talk about that at some point down the line, but right now I can't get into specifics.
No.
There's a history.
So cryptic.
Yeah.
There's a history with Johansson and John Tortorella. John Tortorella took over the Blue Jackets, I think, after an 0-7 start. 3 months later, Johansson is traded. Along the way, he kind of got the Hayes Frost treatment. He got scratched, he got demoted to the 4th line, and then eventually traded to Nashville for Seth Jones. Of course, Nashville flipped him at 50% retained to Colorado for nothing, basically. And now he's a Flyer at $4 million. He cleared waivers. No one wanted him at $4 million, so it's hard to imagine anyone would trade for him at the full price.
Nah.
This is just weird as hell, no?
It's very weird.
I mean, I don't know what to make of it, but Charlie did bring up a good point about it, and it's hard to understand it because we're not in the locker room. We don't know what happened in Columbus. We don't know what happened between those two, but it is obviously because of just the hints and just that we've seen. You kind of put 2 and 2 together, but I mean, I think it's just at the end of the day, he just doesn't fit in the plans here. I was interesting, Charlie bringing up the comparison to the Kevin Hayes situation, but if that is the case, like we've continuously talked about, wins like last night, to me, that's culture. And so why bring in a player like Johansson if he's not going to fit that culture that you have here? So I think the Flyers are going to do their due diligence to see if they can make something work. I don't think so, but he's going to be, at least in Lehigh Valley, he'll be a Phantom for now. But, I mean, I think at this move, the big part about that move was you got that ass. You got that first-round pick for Sean Walker. That was a big part about it. But Johansson, they're going to have to figure out what to do with that.
Sounds like he's just not going to be here. And I don't know if that means they're going to trade him. There's been some speculation that maybe he has something going on that might end up with him in the players' assistance program. That's speculation, by the way. I have no idea if that's true or not. But
there's just something weird going on.
It seems very clear. The way that Danny Briere spoke, it was he's never going to play here. Ever, under any circumstances, was the underlying tone.
Yeah, you brought up a good point last night. If the move feels like it makes sense having a veteran forward in there, especially we've been thin at forward at times as well. But yeah, I mean, it just might be that culture thing.
Yeah, and it's for a team that has made it known they're hungry for centers. This is a guy who has had some success throughout his career. His scoring isn't great, but it's like basically what Scott Laughton has put up this year. Now, it's on Colorado, a team that scores a ton, so you would think there's a chance. And, you know, they flip him to Philly along with the first-round pick and then immediately go get Casey Middlestat. It's like, oh, yeah, we need a center. We had him. He ain't it. We needed somebody else. I just find the whole thing so strange. Like, when you have Cam Atkinson in the lineup every night, when you have dudes who aren't producing, not giving him a shot, there just has to be something else. And maybe it's just, you know, in Charlie's article, his thing is they just don't think he fits the culture. Like, Ryan Johansson plays a certain way, and that was the whole issue between Torts and Kevin Hayes, Torts and Ivan Provorov, Torts and Tony DeAngelo. You play this way or you don't play, and they go, well, I play my way. And if that's the type of guy Johansson is, then no. After you just spent an offseason getting rid of dudes, doing whatever you had to do, buying out DeAngelo, whatever it was, you don't want to get right back into that thing. That's why you resign a Nick Seeler, because we so much value the culture. Bringing in a dude who's going to be counter to that is just a bad idea.
So let me ask you a question, just a hypothetical. If that's the case, like if this is John Tortorella saying, I'm never going to play this guy, I don't like him, don't put him on my roster, how would you feel about that? Because I don't think I like it.
I kind of think they're all on the same page, though. Like,
it does seem like it. I'm just hypothetically
we've talked in the past about this. If you want to make it 4 guys with Hilferty, but like, the triumvirate seems to all have their roles. You know, whether it's Jonesy at the top dealing with us, the media, all his buddies around the league, his sources, whatever. Danny Briere just doing the dirty work as the GM. And John Tortorella, yeah, he's the coach, but he has been assigned the task of saying who got it, who don't, who should be here, what we need, how can we create a winner. That's his job. Identify who's a winner and identify who isn't, and put a group of winners together. And I kind of think that's, like, this is within his purview. Like, this is part of who, this is part of what he's here to do.
Yeah.
Like we saw last year, you know, he's not even coaching at the end of the season last year.
Yeah.
He's just up, like, he's doing other stuff. He's evaluating guys. That's kind of part of what he's doing. So I think they're kind of all on the same page here. And when you see, like, Nashville dumps him, Colorado dumps him.
That's true.
You know, back when Columbus, like, this isn't a dude who everyone's clamoring for. He's bounced from one place to the next, and every place has dumped him. So it's hard to say, oh, well, I don't know, maybe they should give him a shot. I just find the whole situation weird, but I understand it. It's very, very weird. Something else is kind of weird. Now, they get their veteran defenseman in Eric Johnson. They did not put in a waiver claim for Antti Ranta. It doesn't appear as if now it's 2:36. There's 24 minutes until the
keep an eye out for
the trade deadline. Doesn't appear that they're going to acquire a veteran backup. Now the net is Sam Erson's. There's only so many games for the backup to play, so it makes sense not to surrender an asset for a guy who's going to play like 3-4 times maybe. But is that a little like? It is maybe your biggest hole. Other than the defense with everyone being hurt. I mean, they're missing 4 guys from their top 6 right now. But, like, if they were going to do anything, I expected a goalie. And doesn't look like it.
So, per Cap Friendly, friend of the pod, prior to the trades that they made today, the Flyers had about $4.6 million in cap space. And the 2 players that they brought in today combined for about 4.1. So that leaves you no room for Antti Ranta. So, I mean, I personally would have preferred that they claim Ranta, whatever, instead of making one of these moves. But I guess they're so confident in Sam Ersson. And let's be real, once you get to the playoffs, your backup's only playing if your goalie's hurt. So I guess they're just saying, like, Sandstrom is going to be fine enough to get us to the playoffs, and then it doesn't matter anyway, so we're going to go with these 2 guys that we think are going to be more helpful than a backup goaltender.
unfortunately, like your needs do change from week to week due to like injuries or just people's play on a week to week basis. But like for right now, it just felt like for the Flyers, a bigger priority was getting another forward in here, getting another defenseman in here, especially a veteran defenseman. And also, too, like we talked about, Bill, like Felix Sandstrom looks solid in his last start. So it is hard to just say, okay, let's go pick up a backup goalie when, like you just said, we were up against the salary and Felix Sandstrom also looked solid. And for the most part, like where we're at in the season, I mean, we're going to see Felix Sandstrom at most 3 to 4 starts for the rest of the
there's a couple more.
I got a breaking news. Not a Flyers related trade.
What do we got?
But it is kind of interesting. The Lightning got Matt Dumba.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It felt leading up to this that the arms race was really out west, and the East kind of jumped back in today, like really over the last like 24, 36 hours. And we're going to get into some league-wide stuff in a little bit, but that's interesting because, just looking at the standings, even if the Isles are to get hot, catch the Flyers, the wild card, which I didn't think was in play for a while, it was like, 5 Atlantic teams are making it. That's just the way it's going to be. It's in play.
Yeah.
The Flyers and Lightning have the same number of games played. The Flyers are 2 points up on them. That's going to be a bit of a race if the Isles start to catch up even closer to the Flyers.
They won't.
There's a couple of ways for the Flyers to get in. It's not just third seed in the Metro or nothing. The wild card suddenly in play, and Tampa adds Matt Dumba. So we'll see what else they do. Before we get into some of that stuff, though, I gotta chill. I gotta chill because
You don't say.
This team, man, whether they're good, whether they're bad, they drive us nuts. They might drive us to get a little hot. And when you get fired up about your hockey team, the best thing to do is chill with an ice-cold Coors Light. So whether you're freaking out about the trade deadline, goaltenders, who's going to be the backup, injuries, where the hell are all our defensemen, the draft lottery, not a problem for the Flyers this year. They're going to the playoffs. You need to find the Blue Mountains in your fridge and enjoy a beer as cold as the Rockies, because when everything surrounding your favorite hockey team is awesome, sometimes you just got to chill. When you choose to rise above it all, choose chill, choose Coors Light. Get Coors Light delivered straight to your door with Instacart by going to CoorsLight.com/PHLY hockey. That's CoorsLight.com/PHLY HOCKEY. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. I am a little envious of Sean Walker going straight to the source. You know, he gets to tap the Rockies himself out in Denver. But, so we're here live at the Chicken or the Egg right here in Marlton.
Great atmosphere, Bill.
A couple of things I got to tell you about. I told you the St. Paddy's Day weekend here at the Chegg. It's going to be awesome. Drink specials on Guinness, green tea shots, Jameson drinks, car bombs, Shamrock martinis. And Saturday, March 23rd, it's breakfast with the Easter Bunny and an Easter Chegg hunt. And you can get a free framed photo with the Easter Bunny just for showing up. It's going to be a great time. Playing your next couple of holiday weekends right here at the Chicken or the Egg in Marlton. Where do we want to go next, guys? We want to get back to the current roster and some decisions we saw made last night, because I got to tell you, I don't want to harp on these things, because like I said, everyone last night saying, well, what the hell, why is Atkinson in there? Dog, they won. Like, they're in a playoff spot. Things are going pretty well. But part of the reason they're not tearing it down, part of the reason they want to play in these important games is to get a read on how these players react in these situations. Bobby Brink is one of those guys I want to see. I want to see how he does. Like, we saw Adam Ginning and Ronnie Attard last night, guys who aren't even really on the radar, except for they're down 4 defensemen, 5 really. They
had no choice.
Like, they're out of dudes. Bobby Brink made this team out of camp. He is a good player. I'm not saying he's a superstar. They're going to win when he's in the lineup, and they're going to lose if Atkinson. None of that. He's going to be a good middle six forward when all's said and done. But, like, why is he up?
I'm a little bit worried.
Play him with the Phantoms. Why'd you call him back up if he's not going to play in a game like last night?
I am a little bit worried that Torts has placed Brink into the I don't like you pile of hockey players.
Which is wild.
Which is fucking crazy. It makes zero sense to me. But, like, the hesitancy to put him into the lineup and the way he laid into him in that last game that he was in, like, I get it, he made a mistake. I get it. But, like, we've heard him say before.
5 guys made a mistake on that play.
We've heard him say, like, you have to let these guys make mistakes so that they learn. Like, we've heard him say the things that make sense. But with certain players, he doesn't let them do it. And he seems to have decided that Bobby Brink is one of those guys he's not going to let make a single mistake and stay in the lineup. And that's like a problem for me, because I think Bobby Brink is going to be something like, I liked Wade Allison, but I liked Wade Allison because he was fun.
Yeah.
I thought he would be a fun fourth liner. Mm-hmm. I don't think Wade Allison was ever going to be like an effective or good NHLer. Like
his ceiling was Garnett Hathaway.
Right. Ceiling. Absolute
Yes, that's
ceiling.
what he was. If everything worked out.
Because he looked like a madman and he was fun sometimes.
Yeah.
That's why I liked him.
He was a bowling ball out there.
Bobby Brink, on the other hand, is going to be a good NHL hockey player.
I agree.
And there's zero reason in these situations, when you have a guy like Atkinson who you can very easily take out of the lineup because he's giving you absolutely nothing. I don't like that Brink sits. I don't like it at all.
Here's a tough decision for Torts, especially a game like last night when you're going up against a really good team in the Florida Panthers, because we're still crossing the line between, are we rebuilding or are we trying to win right now? And unfortunately for the Flyers, they're kind of doing a little bit of both. So
I don't know if they are. Make your point, though.
Well,
I'm sorry.
I mean, from what we've been told, it seems like we are still looking at the future. And from what it looks like in these type of deals that we've seen leading up to deadline, it does feel like they are doing that. But on a game like last night, I think that Torch just went in and just said, like, look, I want to go with my veteran guys because Florida is obviously really good. They do everything really, really well.
Okay.
But with that being said, I agree with both of you, because I still believe we are still looking for the future. And what better way to find out about a young prospect than putting him in the fire like that, putting him against a Florida Panthers team like that with this tough defense. And that's how you actually find out what you have there in a prospect like Bobby Brink. So I'm with you guys, but I'm just trying to understand where Torch is coming from and where he's trying to think. And I think that's where he's at. I need to trust my guys. I'm not sure if I think for him, he unfortunately trusts a guy like Cam Atkinson over Bobby Brink, which is wild.
That's his boy.
Yeah.
I don't even know. Maybe the relationship has something to do with it, but he has benched him. He has moved into the fourth line this season. He's scratched him a few times. I will, in defense of this move that I don't agree with, yeah. Well, listen,
you have to do it. I get it.
Just to put it out there, so it's not. Oh, well, you just
hear
fall in
both
love with
sides,
the
baby.
kids, and it's not even that.
Mm-hmm.
I think what Tortorella was most mad about on that goal that Atkinson or that Brink didn't crash down on the wraparound. They score on that wraparound goal, and it's the game-winning goal. Lixell got yelled at for that, too. It was kind of everyone, but they called for a line change and ended up not taking it and got stuck out there for close to 2 minutes, and he didn't have the burst to crash down and try to break up that wraparound.
Right.
And even though Atkinson isn't going to give you the offense that Bobby Brink does, he's not going to give you as good of a chance to win with his pure ability.
Yeah.
Brink is better, definitely. Atkinson isn't going to do dumb stuff like not get off the ice when he's supposed to, and that can cost you a game like this it's more the when he said, I couldn't play them with that stupidity, it's not even that he missed a defensive assignment, because those mistakes are going to happen. They happen to everyone. If he benched someone every time they missed a defensive assignment, Mark Stahl would be playing for the Phantoms. It's the mental stuff, knowing what you're supposed to do.
Fair.
If he can't trust him there, it's that's almost the most important thing to Torts. The physical mistakes are going to happen because it's a fast game.
Yeah.
The other guys are trying too. But it's something as simple as, I told you to get off the ice and you didn't, and look what happened. Nah, you ain't playing. I can almost understand that. But end of the day, I'm looking at who are my 12 best forwards. Bobby Brink is one of them. Cam Atkinson isn't. Now, is Cam Atkinson better than Nick Deslauriers? Yeah.
Yes.
But Nick Deslauriers plays a role, and I appreciate that role. We talked about this on post-game last night. You know how a lot of Florida Panthers games become shit shows?
They sure do.
Last night didn't happen. Because the Flyers pushed back. They have the ability to push back. They're not going to get bullied.
We're not taking that.
Not that, Nick Deslauriers, his presence won them the game. But I do think it is somewhat important in a matchup like last night, where they're going to... Listen, they run dudes all the time. It's what they do. And I thought with 12 seconds or however many seconds left after the Flyers scored to go ahead, I was like, oh, this is gonna get bad. I was saying to JP, like, put Felix Sandstrom on the ice right now. Like, let him go fight. Let him take the face off. Put Delorier out there, Laughton, Hathaway, whatever. And they ended up trying to score, not fight. But that's who the Panthers are, and that pushback, I think, kind of got them off their game. They haven't had many opponents this year who are like, oh, no, we're standing up to you.
Yeah.
Rather than, oh, Nick Cousins ran me from behind. It's like, nah, if you do that, we're going to have Nick Delorier break a stick over your head. Like,
if only.
I do think there's a little bit something to that, and that's why, like, when I say 12 best forwards, I mean really 11 in the fighter.
Yeah.
And let's be clear, if Brink gets back into the lineup quickly, like,
yeah,
I'm cool.
Yeah,
like
if
I'm totally
he
chill
plays
again.
tomorrow,
yeah, we're fine.
No harm, no foul.
Cool.
Yeah.
We'll see. It's not as if Cam Atkinson is being trusted with a ton of minutes.
No.
He's not being given a. Is he still on the? He was on the power play last night, right?
I do.
I believe he was. Yes.
It's a choice.
He was,
Now, I will
he was on
say-
the second unit last night.
He and Travis Konechny have the same number of power play points. They both have 6,
Which is hilarious.
Morgan
insane.
Frost leads the team with 9. Like, we're 62 games into the series, 64 games into the season. We don't have a guy with 10 power play points.
Yeah, but the penalty kill, though.
We're last. We're last.
It's truly almost impressive how bad this power play is. But people were complaining about that, like specifically the use of Atkinson in that role. And, like, that's exactly where you would want to see Brink. Like, maybe having that role over Cam Atkinson.
Let me ask you, Bill, do you
But
think...
it's not going to be good no matter what.
Yeah. Do you think that maybe... Because obviously we talked about the inexperience of the third pairings with the defensemen. Do you think that had anything to do with putting in veteran forwards as well? Do you want to put a lot of inexperience out there at once?
That is a good point. Like, we do have 2 guys on the blue line who might not even be NHL caliber players. I think they represented themselves very well last night and maybe opened some eyes in the organization where it was like, yeah, they're kind of on the outside looking in terms of dudes we think have it. Like, we know they like Emil Andre, you know? He made the team. It was 4 games that he played, but he made the team. These dudes with more experience didn't. They're only here because they're out of guys.
Yes.
I think maybe they opened some eyes last night, but you have a couple of young players that you don't know what you're going to get out of them. Maybe having a veteran like Cam Atkinson in the lineup is a way to counterbalance that.
I'm sure that that's the thought process. Like, whether or not that's reality, whether or not that's something that we agree with as people watching the game, almost certainly that's the thought process behind them doing it. Which, like, honestly, there comes a point where, like, you can't even get mad at it because they're winning.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
No, that's the, like
it's like,
what am I going to be mad after last night?
Yeah.
The best I felt about the team in 5 years?
Yeah, no, I'm cool. Like, yeah. Like, it's going to take a little while for the goodwill to wear off. Like, Danny's doing good stuff. Team's playing well. They beat the Florida Panthers. Like, right now, I'm just like, you know, it's all right.
It looks like the Rangers have acquired Jake Roslovic from Columbus, the center, for a mid-round pick in 2026, according to Frank Saravelli right now.
Rangers are another,
Are the Rangers going to do... Are they going to do anything? Are they a thing? Are they for real? I don't buy it.
The East is just so open that it's hard not to think that they're legit content. Like, who, other than Florida, who's better than them in the East?
Well, I'll say this. I mean, I did
And they
like
have the goaltend. Like, that's the
Boston?
thing.
Yeah.
No.
Boston, I just don't buy it. Like,
Yeah,
that's
I
a
know.
team I don't buy a little bit.
Yeah.
There's no way they can, with what they have at center, there's just no way they can win a playoff series.
I do like what the Hurricanes have done in this deadline, but the goalie's still a little bit of a question for me.
Freddie Anderson's coming back, I think. They're getting pretty good goaltending out of Kochetkov.
They're going to be a tough out
He's
in the
their
playoffs,
goalie of
though.
the future, but that's going to be, I want to get into a little bit of the first round series matchups.
I think it's...
The first round matchup against, in all likelihood, right now it looks like the Hurricanes. But first,
They're busy.
I got to tell you about our friends at Game Time. Now, all season long, I've been telling you how easy it is to buy with Game Time and how convenient it is. They're all in pricing, the seat view. But I got to tell you about selling with Game Time because the other night I had tickets to see Laura Jane Grace at
Who's that?
the lead singer of Against Me.
Okay.
At Underground Arts. I was really excited for my favorite songwriters of all time. And then the Flyers traded Sean Walker. So Bill couldn't go to this concert.
Oh, that's disrespectful.
So it really is.
It really is.
Danny, really?
They had absolutely no respect for my day
Could've
off.
done it today,
Yeah,
dude.
why not? We're doing this live show for you, Flyers. You think I'm here for my health?
No.
as I tried to. Anyway, Game Time. So I put the tickets up on Game Time, and they sold right away. It was so easy. Just take a picture of the barcode, and boom. Everything is handled. Everything after that's handled for you. It was quick and easy. So let me tell you now about everything else I've told you about them all year. Buying tickets to your favorite event shouldn't be stressful. Game Time is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater near you. With killer deals on last-minute tickets and their best price guarantee, you can stop stressing over the tickets and start getting hyped for the fun you'll have. Game Time is the place for last-minute ticket deals. Forget planning months in advance. Game Time has deals on tickets right up to the day of the event. Get exclusive flash deals on tickets for football, basketball, baseball, concerts, comedy, theater, and more. And more includes hockey. And the Game Time guarantee means you'll always get the best price. If you find tickets in the same section or row for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. So snag the tickets without the stress with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code PHLY for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code PHLY for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. All right, let's look at some of these trades around the league little bit.
Let's go.
And I saw earlier today Winnipeg got Tyler Toffoli, and I kind of want to look at the rest of the Metro to lead things off here. Just, it is wild how this season has unfolded in terms of, like, the Devils, a young team, and young teams can take a step back, but such high expectations, such great high-end talent there. They're selling. They said they trade pending UFA Tyler Toffoli.
Yeah.
They have fallen out of it. It's pretty much over for them. The Penguins sold Jake Gensel. They go out and
dead as a
They
doornail.
go out and get Erik Karlsson this offseason, thinking this is what's going to bolster our core to get
No.
They're not even going to make the playoffs.
It's a shame.
Forget going on a run.
Oh.
They moved Jake Gensel.
Hate to see
They've
it.
moved a couple of other guys. They're selling, and the Caps are still in it. They're right there with the Isles, but they sell Anthony Mantha. So now we look at the Metro. Flyers are holding down that 3 seed. They're 33, 23, and 8, 74 points in 64 games. They have 18 remaining. Islanders, they're catching up, man. They're catching up. 28, 20, and 14, 70 points in 62 games. They have 20 remaining.
Destroyed San Jose last night as well.
Yeah, I mean,
I
of course they got San Jose. You know,
Yeah, right.
We have the
Yeah.
Panthers and they have the Sharks.
Right.
But I do think
Seriously.
like their next 4 games are pretty easy as well.
Yeah, that's one of the. With the Flyers' schedule versus the Islanders, they're kind of looking at it like, we can catch them. But
Yeah.
if
No, you
last night's
can't.
any indication, maybe not so fast. But, like, behind the Islanders, yeah, like the Caps, the 67 points with 21 games left, but they sold. The Devils are out. The Penguins are out. Do we think the Flyers are going to hold down this 3 seed?
For my mental health, please.
No, dude. Like, they are.
There's no way they can. Like, listen, Bill, just simply based off of what we talked about and the build of this team, the culture, the mental toughness this team has, I just don't see a way that they will. And they will play against some of these teams that we've been talking about going down the line here. So that's going to be really big when you go head-to-head with some of those teams. So I just think the way this team is built up, there's no way we are missing the playoffs. And, of course, as I say that, they will. I'm just kidding.
I mean, it's the Flyers. You can't get too excited ever, but I am right now. I really am. But that
hard not
said,
to.
looking at this schedule, they go to Tampa tomorrow. Then they have the Sharks at home. I mean, if that's not 2 points, something's the matter.
Well, we did see something earlier this year.
You can't possibly be swept by the Sharks. There's
true.
simply no way. But then they play the Leafs on the 14th. That's our takeover game. It's Pearl Jam
Hell
night.
yeah.
Get your tickets at allphly.com/events. Meet us there and have a great time as the Flyers try to beat the Maple Leafs. Then they go to Boston. Then they have the Leafs at home again. They go to Carolina. Boston comes here. Florida comes here. They go to the Rangers. Like, this schedule sucks.
Sucks.
We're going to find out a lot about this team, but again, we've been saying that all year, and they keep answering the bell. So while this schedule is going to be really difficult, I am excited to see how this team continues to react.
I would rather see a difficult schedule because, yes, I know we're excited about playoffs, but I still need to find out more about teams. So what better way, and we're in a playoff push, and going up against playoff teams. We'll find out a lot more, and that's valuable experience that they're just going to gain. But, yeah, I'm looking at the schedule right now. There's no favors done for the Flyers here, so we'll see how tough that mental toughness is here, guys.
How long long have I been hearing that the Islanders are a thing?
Oh my God.
Well, now.
I know they got a new coach and everything, but
they score a little more now. They still have the goal. That's always the issue, is you just might not score on them.
Yes.
Their backup is Varlamov.
they have good goalies.
Sorokin is awesome.
True.
He's been a problem for the Flyers in the past. He kills them. He's one of, if not the best goalie in the league. That's always an issue.
Fair.
But
However,
go ahead.
I'll believe the Islanders when I see the Islanders. I feel like it's been 10 years where every year it's oh, the Islanders, here they come. And no, they don't.
No, they don't.
Here come
They
the
never
fish stick
do.
uniforms.
Yeah. I don't know. Also, the Golden Knights are apparently getting Tomas Hertl. I don't understand. Does the cap just not apply to them? I don't understand what's happening.
Nah,
I just don't.
Who else are they hurting? Whose spleen did they cut out this time? I don't understand what's happening.
I really appreciate what they do because I would love it.
I respect the hell
I would
out of
love
it.
but I just don't understand how the math works.
I don't understand either.
Where do all these
Math's
players
not
play?
math,
They have to have more than 23 guys.
They got so many guys.
Their whole team, they have an all-star team. It's unbelievable what Vegas does. It's really hard not to pick them to win the cup.
I mean,
I know going back-to-back's difficult, but they just, their whole philosophy, which again, respect it, let's get awesome players. That's cool.
It's a good
but
strategy.
How do they keep doing it?
The NHL
Step
loves
one,
them.
lacerate your star player's spleen.
Oh my God.
And, I guess what you do is you work backwards. You say, okay, we need Mark Stone to be back precisely on this date. It just happens to be the start of the first round. I don't know how that happens. And then you just work backwards and you think, okay, well, what injury is non-life-threatening that we can give him that he will be out for precisely this amount of time? Lacerated spleen. Let's go.
Kelly has a script right now.
It's just absolute, what is their total... in the Stanley Cup final, if they were to be there, the roster they ice has to be $112 million.
It's got to be. It's Tampa from a couple years ago. I respect the hell out of it. I can't wait till the Flyers are in a position to do this kind of nonsense because I feel like Briere absolutely will, just based on his first-year move.
I sure hope so. I mean, Sean Couturier, how's your back feeling?
Not great.
You should probably take a couple months off.
Manage that load, baby.
Yeah.
Have a seat. You don't look great.
History
We'll
of back
see
problems.
you in April.
Maybe this is what they're doing with Ryan Ellis, just keeping him fresh.
Oh my God.
Just keeping him fresh.
Waiting for the
Ellis
playoffs.
Island.
For 5 years.
He's gonna
just
be
take
so
a little
fresh.
Ellis Island vacation.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, guys.
This is what's happening with Risto, too.
Guys, it's 3:01.
It is 3:01.
Oh, yeah,
so
Flyers
we're
are done.
here. So it's over.
We did
So
it.
they always tell us, the
survived.
NHL. The NHL probably works via fax. So wait a few minutes. It's
I think they
3:15.
do. I think you
sending
literally
it
still have to
now.
fax the trades.
you
I
really?
think you do.
No,
I know
you
they do the
don't.
draft through modern technology.
Maybe they got rid of the
but
fax machines.
We can't
They
zoom
might
this in?
still-
Like,
it's
what
the
the heck?
NHL. They
Could
might
you
still be
text
working
Jonesy
via
and ask him
fax.
if they still have to fax the trades?
I honestly, we might do that. I might have to. Are you having to fax this?
Hopefully no one does a Cleveland Browns and forgets to hit the send button.
But let's take a look at this potential first-round matchup. Since we're talking about the standings,
I'm pumped about it.
The Rangers. I mean, they're only 4 points up on Carolina.
Coming to you,
but
Dr. T.
they've been considerably good. They have the regulation and regulation overtime win tiebreaker over Carolina. So right now, it looks like it's going to be Carolina 2 versus Philly 3 in the Metro to start the playoffs. Carolina kind of loading up.
They sure are.
They go get Jake Gensel and I believe Ty Smith. And now Evgeny Kuznetsov, which is really interesting.
Yeah.
Who knows? Take it easy, Black Gritty. It was
Appreciate
awesome.
you.
Awesome getting to meet him in person for
Legend.
the first time.
Carolina has a way of buying low on dudes and kind of seeing if they can turn it around.
I'm a little
their
mad. I mean, we've been rooting for them while the Flyers have been, in the gutter.
Yeah.
I've always kind of liked Carolina.
fun.
I like the way we have active defensemen. We're a great two-way team. Analytics, your boy Dr. T.
Dr. T, front of the block.
The assistant GM there. But their owner is such a freak. They don't even have an AHL team.
Yes.
He's such a freaking cheapskate,
It's
Tom
weird.
Dundon.
Oh my God.
And their whole philosophy is we don't do rentals. And
They
went out and got the best rental on the market this year. They really, I was saying
They had
earlier,
a few.
is this because the East is so wide open? It's like, if not now, when?
They've been so close the past couple of years.
It kind of seems like the moves that they made this week make me think that that's precisely what that front office thinks, that they're like, this is it. This is the year. We have to go all the way for it. No more dicking around. And that makes me really happy because if nothing else, the Flyers are going to beat the shit out of them.
That's Kelly's getting me excited here.
Even if they lose, like Carolina is not going to be the same team after they play this Flyers team in the first round.
And that's so they've played Carolina 3 times this season. They have one more left. That's on March 21st. It's in Carolina. But the first 3 games, October 30th, they lost to the Canes 3-2. On November 15th, they beat them 3-1. And they lost again at home to Carolina 4-1.
Yeah.
They've played them tight for the most part. But this is kind of a team that might have a matchup advantage with just the active defensemen, the speed that they play with. They've been a little bit of an issue. It's kind of the one really good team this year that the Flyers, more often than not, it's like, ooh, yeah, Carolina's been better than them.
Oh, they are better.
Yeah.
They're better. Like,
I mean,
there's no
Carolina's
getting
going for
around
the
it.
cup,
Yeah,
and the
there's no
Flyers
getting
sold
around
their
it.
best defenseman.
They're better. But I don't know. I know that I'm, like, right now a little out of my head when it comes to the Flyers. It just has, like, Columbus Lightning, like this first round, like written all over it.
God.
Like, just like fucking do it.
Yeah.
Just ruin somebody's
we did
day.
talk about that
Just
last
go. Like, I don't know. I
Ludicrous.
feel like it could happen.
I mean, like we talked about last night, dude. The Flyers have that mentality. Like they have the mentality. They don't care who the hell they play on a night basis, especially in the playoffs. But I will say, only because it's now a series instead of one game, that's where I get concerned. But I think it'd be a lot of fun.
I think that it being a series
You think it
kind
bodes
of
well?
benefits the Flyers.
Okay. We'll see. I mean, going down to Carolina.
You get in their head a little bit, and then you keep getting in, then you keep smashing their star players, and
Garnet
then you keep running the
Hathaway just on
goaltender.
the
and it's just,
PK.
Garnet Hathaway just chipping away at those defensemen.
Exactly, yes.
He gets a good run in on Tony D. I mean, Brent Burns is 140. Like, that is, I do think, while the Flyers they're a physical team, they're not the best forechecking team. That third line, or maybe first line, as we've seen the last few nights, that group paling with Hathaway and Cates, that is a playoff line.
Dude.
You saw it last night, establishing the forecheck the way they did, getting to the net the way they did, creating turnovers. If a quote-unquote third line, even though it's their first right now, can win you a playoff series, this is the one that can. Just the way they get in. Garnet Hathaway in the playoffs is going to run a defenseman through the end boards on the forecheck.
Yes.
He's probably going to get suspended in these playoffs. Probably just a fine. He's going to pull the Shea Weber, head into the turnbuckle. It's like, that's a $5,000 fine.
Didn't mean to.
I do think they could potentially wear down the back end of the Carolina Hurricanes, which is their strong suit. They have some really good forwards, and they've added a few, but what they do with their defensemen is what makes them so good, and I think the Flyers might be able to beat them up. That said, Carolina is going to be heavy favorites, as they should be, right?
For sure.
But what another exciting thing about this matchup with you, Bill, is seeing Sam Ersson in the playoffs. Because I feel like the guy like Sam Ersson he's like a stone cold type of goalie. In a playoff-like situation with Carolina, I would love to see that. I would just love to see Ersson in a playoff situation, man. It'd be a lot of fun to watch.
It's just one more guy that we're finding out about, and
he's been big as of late, man.
It's been really cool to see how good he's been in these clutch situations. I don't think the numbers tell the full story.
Yeah.
The Flyers don't give up a ton of shots. They do, however, they have Travis Sanheim, so the good is good and the bad is a goal against. So even if they give up, 19 shots in a game, it's like, 3 were breakaways. So I don't think his numbers tell the full story, but he has been so good, and it's just going to be like this stretch of games I went through a minute ago, and then into a playoff series. It's going to be a lot of fun to find out about Sam Ersson. That's a dude we didn't even know what we had, and we did not think we were going to be finding out about him this way, this much. He's the number one. They don't have a backup.
No, he's the dude.
Their backup goalie is a dude they don't want to play, and the only reason he's here is because the other guy's worse.
Yeah, it's literally 3 guys on top of each other in a trench coat.
It's like Cal Peterson was so bad. It's like, man, we had Felix Sandstrom here for months. And we were like, we're not playing him. Nah, we're just not doing that.
Yeah.
And Peterson was so bad, it was okay. And now it's Ersson's net. and it's going to be. This is really cool.
Sandstrom, in his game, he was all right.
Crazy stuff happens with goaltending all the time.
Sure.
Like you see, Martin Jones, who was terrible.
Savior of the Leafs season.
He basically saved the Leafs
He
season.
did.
You know, he kept them afloat. We've seen ALLCITY now 2 years in a row rescue playoff teams.
Yes.
He saved Florida's season. Bobrovsky was awesome in the playoffs for them, but they don't get there without what Alex Lyon gave them. And now he's the number one in Detroit.
Quite literally should have kept.
It's really, really impressive, and that just goes to show you goaltending's voodoo.
Michael Late in 2010, that's all I gotta say.
You need a goalie to play elite, and it's usually not an elite goalie.
Hold the run. Not the Stanley Cup, the run.
All right, so let's take a step back now. It's 3:09, so it looks like the
9 minutes after.
Flyers
No, they're
are
done.
officially done.
Yeah.
So let's just take a look at everything that has transpired. Right before we go on the air, they had Eric Johnson for a 4th rounder. I don't love it,
We didn't
but
really talk about the Wade Allison trade, did we?
not a ton.
No.
Eric Johnson for a 4th. I don't love it, but what am I going to get mad about a 4th?
I can't care.
I hope
Yeah.
I hope he doesn't play. I hope Nick Seeler comes back soon. I hope Jamie Drysdale isn't gone forever. I'll take Rasmus Ristolainen over Eric Johnson, quite honestly.
No, I need to see playoff Risto.
They badly need playoff
I
Risto
have
so that they
to
can
see
trade
it.
him. It's an absolute must.
I must know.
Risto needs to badly hurt, and I don't mean injure. I mean just put a hurt on somebody, one guy in the playoffs, and boom, you're probably getting a 1st-round pick for him in the offseason.
Oh my God.
Just one open ice, just lay somebody out, and all of our problems are solved.
So Eric Johnson for a 4th right before we go on the air, as well as Wade Allison to Nashville for Denny Garyanov, who is also basically an AHLer. Same age, they're both 26. Garyanov scored a bit more in the AHL, especially this season. These are kind of just, we don't want Wade Allison anymore.
Yeah.
Give us that guy, and Nashville's like, yeah, sure, we'll take Wade Allison. He'll probably come up and score 20 goals for them next year because,
probably,
that's just what happens.
Change the
but we look at the Sean Walker trade. He goes to Colorado along with that 2026 5th for a 2025 1st, the 1st next year, and Ryan Johansson. We went through his whole saga earlier. The Nick Seeler re-signing and the brokering the Hanifin trade. Vegas gets Tomas Hertl and Noah Hanifin. How? I just don't understand how the math works. Whatever.
It doesn't work.
So they get the 2024 5th rounder for covering 1.24 of Hanifin's deal from Calgary to go to Vegas. So that's Danny's trade deadline. What do we think?
I thought it was solid. Obviously, when you're sellers, it's hard to say he knocked out the park, but I thought he stayed packed, which was important. I thought he got some value. I think the big thing we were all concerned about is getting those assets because we still kind of need those for the future. We did the most important part, Bill, and that's build the culture within that locker room and on the ice. But now you got to still build for the future. You got that 1st rounder for Sean Walker. I mean, you got some bodies here, Eric Johnson. You'll have him from some type of insurance going forward. And Gurnov, I mean, listen, he's a guy that, he had some nice days with Dallas. He's been trying to find his way again in the NHL, and it really felt like body for body. We didn't want Wade, they didn't want Denny, so it worked out well. We'll see if anything happens. That's just really a non-risk thing. But I like that Danny stayed packed. And I thought he didn't do anything crazy. So if we had to give a letter grade, I'd probably go like a strong B- for Danny Briere because I thought he stayed packed.
A-. The only quibble that I have with what happened over the last week is that I wouldn't have signed Nick Seeler for that many years. That's the one thing that I'm I might not have done that.
Yeah, and I said it when we talked 2 nights ago, whatever it was, Wednesday night in our second emergency pod. I like that he kept the AAV down and he got creative. He's okay, here's a 4th year, no trade clause first 2, and now we have a sub-3 average annual value on Nick Seeler. Also, Nick Seeler is hurt right now. And the way he plays, you got to believe he ain't going to be an 82-game kind of guy. He's a badass, but it's a contact sport, and that frozen rubber disc, like when it's your job to stand in front of it and you're not wearing goalie pads, it's going to catch you sometimes.
We saw Cam York last night.
But that cap hit's going to be nothing.
That's what I'm
year.
not that worried, simply because $2.7 million.
Doesn't matter.
What am I going to be mad?
Nah.
And especially if this offseason, say they are able to move Ristolainen.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing we have to remember. All of us, fans, everybody, has to remember. Today's not the end of the moves.
Yes, there's free
Things are
agency,
going to
the
happen.
draft, an entire offseason
things are going
for
to
things to
happen.
transpire. Today is simply the deadline. You know,
Right.
it's the roster deadline for the playoffs. That's what today
That's
is.
Pretty
much,
You
yeah.
have to be on a team's roster to play in the playoffs today. So that's like, this isn't the end, but just for his first trade deadline, I mean, he got the first for Sean Walker. Now he is taking back a considerable amount of salary. And
Don't get me started on this again, William.
we don't have resolution. This isn't even about value.
Okay.
I'm not doing the Charlie value
All right.
thing. I understand what he's
Slap the
saying,
shit
but
out
at
of
the
you.
end of the
No,
day,
it's
like
stupid.
at the end of the day, I really don't care. My quibble is again, Eric Johnson. That's on my list of issues with this team.
Don't
He's really
care.
not on it.
Yeah.
I hope he doesn't play. You know. It's the considerable amount of salary that they have put towards dudes who ain't playing. Like on the cap,
Well-
like Cal Peterson and Ryan Johansson, as well as like right now 3 injured defensemen plus Ryan Ellis.
Wait a minute,
Like,
though. 2 of those guys are weaponized cap, which is what we wanted him to do.
As well as
And
you're
it hurt
still
a bunch of hurt
paying.
guys.
You're still paying the Kevin Hayes retention. You have the Noah Hannafin retention, which is the weaponized cap, like you said. But you have the D'Angelo buyout still against the cap next year. Like, I'm giving him a B+.
That's rebuilding,
They
though.
have a ton of money spent on dudes who just aren't on the team. But
Yeah.
I'm giving him a B+. Like, I would have traded Nick Seeler. Also, I think he's going to be good for us.
Yeah.
He's going to be good for this locker room. He's going to be good for the team.
Hard dude not to like, dude. It's like he's.
If
fucking
we
great.
had resolution on Ryan Johansson, I might bump it up to an A. If it was, and now I think they're going to buy him out. Like that's what I think happens, and fine. You know,
Yeah, whatever.
$4 million, so that's what, $2 million over the next 2 years. You can live with that. Probably less. It's 2/3 the cap hit over twice the years. So I can buy it out right now, but I don't feel like messing with the Wi-Fi. But it's just they have a ton of money dedicated to dudes who ain't here. But small quibble. I'm giving Danny for his very first trade deadline a B+, I would say. And really for his first year on the job, looking at the assets they have collected. I mean, last year at the draft, you get Matvei Michkov, you get Oliver Bonk. This year they have 2 firsts. Now, one of those firsts is a lasting gift from Chuck Flesher, and they have 2
Chucky.
firsts next year. They also have 2 seconds this year and 2 seconds next year.
That's a lot of picks, dude.
That is a ton of picks.
That's a lot of
They
picks.
had a ton of top 64 picks. Like this isn't we have so many fourths.
No.
Like this is whatever you think of the draft. Oh, it's a deep draft, it's a shallow draft. We're talking about first and second round picks. These
Yes.
are dudes who should turn into something. You know, whether it's you get a steal like a Pasternak or it's a Scott Laughton. These either way, it's dudes who are going to help you, and that's really important.
Or assets that you're going to package together to get something better.
That's the other part. That's why getting the 2025 first, I have said for a few weeks now, I don't think it's a bad idea to be targeting down the line. And it was said that the Flyers wanted the 2025 because that draft is deep, and it is specifically deep at the center position, which is their primary need. I believe they need a number 1 defenseman just as much, but they have dudes
Get that this year.
who can play defense.
Yeah.
They don't have any centers. They have Sean Couturier. We'll see how much he has left in the tank down the stretch here. They have Morgan Frost, who's always one mistake away from not being on the team.
Yes.
Scott Laughton, who might not be here in a couple of months. Ryan Poehling, who I love a lot. He's a 4th-line center on a really good team.
Our
They
fourth line's
don't
gonna
have
be
any.
so sick when we're good.
When they're good, if it's this 4th line, that's a hell of a 4th
Yes.
line, man. That's a 4th line that can help you win a playoff series.
Yeah.
But seeing the 2025 draft, a ton of centers. All right, let's get one of those. That's really good asset management, I believe.
I have a hard time complaining about any of this. Like, I've seen some complaints about, like, I would have gotten a 4th to retain that salary and not a 5th. Like, just like that
the
kind
Twitter
of like
GMs.
nitpicky stuff where it's like, it doesn't, A, it doesn't matter. And B, like, getting any asset for some of the stuff that he got assets for, like taking on salary, taking on contracts, like, that's creative GMing. It's something we haven't seen from the Flyers probably since like Paul Holmgren. Like, I don't think anyone's been creative.
First half, Paul Holmgren,
Yeah.
excellent.
Yeah. And it's just like, I'm finding it very difficult to not be fully convinced that this front office is 100% rebuilding this team based on these moves, and B, like, having any quibbles with the way they've managed the assets. Like, the only thing you could maybe argue with is the Seeler thing. Maybe you should have traded him for what, a 3rd max?
Yeah.
In a year in which they're saying this is not a deep draft.
Right.
Now, I always go back to 2017. We told, you're lucky to get 2C Nolan Patrick at the number 2 pick, you know?
I know.
And it's 3, 4, and 5 are superstars. But it's just the way it goes.
They're a lottery.
Drafts are, that's why they call it the lottery. Exactly.
Yeah.
These are lottery tickets.
Literally.
That's what draft picks are. You hope to get lucky with them.
Right.
You do the scouting. You get the guy you think fits best, who has the best upside. But at the end of the day, we're talking about, like Connor Bedard turned 18, like a week after the draft? Like, we're talking about children.
Yeah.
You have no idea who these people are.
The people we're going
humans.
to draft in 2025 are literally like 16 right now.
Yeah, but most importantly too, like I know everyone thinks like, we should have gotten more, but like let's look at the situation this time last year. Like Chuck Fletcher was calling teams, and these teams were laughing in their face through the phone. And now you look at this
Couldn't
year.
get a thing for James Van Riemsdyk.
Nothing.
Wow! But you look at it now, like Danny Briere, like
Imagine
he
being
looks pretty
him.
smart right now. Chuck Fletcher.
No, James Van Riemsdyk, like,
okay.
what? I got to show up to work tomorrow? What do you mean?
Yeah, what do you mean? You couldn't get a third for me? Like, what?
I'm not coming. I'd be like, I'm not coming.
I thought you were trading me. Like,
no,
what?
I retire.
Oh man, I'll never forget that press conference. Man.
It was the absolute best. I went into the deadline saying, I bet they can get something for Mark Stahl. Now, circumstances are they have no defenseman, so it's not surprising they didn't trade Mark Stahl. Are you a little surprised, disappointed, or happy that Scott Laughton is still here?
I was thinking about that as well. I'm happy for it. I mean, I'm just looking at the market right now. It did feel like the center market did cool off after some of those big moves that happened, but he's here. He obviously, you saw his play over the last month. He did everything in his power to stay here. And that's what we always talk about, proving your worth on the ice, accountability. So seeing him out there, going out there on a night-to-night basis, being a strong leader, performing, putting up points as well.
Right.
It's been really big to see that. And, he get paid off. He's here, and I'm happy for it.
Yeah, so we love Scott Laughton, right? Like, we love him.
Oh, yeah.
Big for the culture.
In our minds, think that, like, he's 100% the kind of dude that hockey men love. And, like, he probably is on some level. Also, his entire season has been garbage. So, like, the likelihood is that no one was offering anything good for Scott Laughton, and so why would you trade him?
Charlie, were you there? I can't remember if Charlie and I had this conversation with or without you, but it was... He has turned it on in the last couple weeks since the All-Star break. And Charlie did say, like, do you think the hockey men are like, he gets it going when it matters?
I mean,
like the idea, like Matt Tkachuk.
That is how their brains
everyone,
work.
Like, there are dudes who think Matt Tkachuk is like the best player in the NHL.
Yeah.
And it's simply because of the way he plays and the playoff he had, and he's clutch and all that stuff. And it was like, Tkachuk, October, November, December, he was all right. He was just all right.
Yeah.
January 1st comes, it's second half, Tkachuk. He's getting heated up for the playoffs. I am not to compare these two guys. One is a legitimate all-star and the other is Scott Laughton here. But, like, he is kind of the poor man's Tkachuk in that way. Like, maybe someone's thinking, he turns it on when it matters. But at the end of the day, they are a playoff team.
Yeah.
You don't trade this guy. That said, I do want to see Scott Laughton traded this summer.
I think he will be. And I think that that's always made the most sense, is him being an off-season move.
I could see him also play very motivated now that he was able to stay. He's listen. He appreciates everything that comes his way, and I feel like Scott Laughton, with him now being able to stay here, I think he's going to pay it back here with this play going forward.
So we are live here at the Chicken or the Egg, the Chegg in Marlton, New Jersey. It has been an awesome day. Still have a little more than half an hour left in today's show. I got to tell you about some events coming up here in the next couple of weeks. You know what next weekend is? It is the St. Patty's Weekend Bash right here at the Chegg. Specials on Guinness, green tea shots, Jameson drinks, and car bombs and Shamrock martinis. It is going to be a great time. Just based on the crowd today, it is going to be popping here on St. Patty's, and that's Friday, March 15th through St. Patrick's Day on Sunday, the 17th. And then 2 weeks from now, Saturday, March the 23rd, breakfast with the Easter Bunny and Easter Chegg hunt here at the Chicken or the Egg. And you can get a free framed photo with the Easter Bunny just for showing up. It is going to be a great time. I highly recommend it. I had the Killer Bee Sting chicken fingers earlier. I'm more of a bone out than bone in guy. I mean, I love all wings. Quite honestly, wings are my favorite food. And we're going to have some coming in a little bit. I was told
Is it gonna be the big ones?
Not to eat this Ludicrous sauce. Don't do it. And the best way to get me to do something dumb is telling me you're doing something dumb. So when those arrive, I'm gonna need a Coors Light too. I'm gonna need some sort of cold beverage. I don't know if that's gonna help at all.
Perhaps a towel?
I have been told don't do this. It's a bad idea.
Yeah,
Kelly wants one. Kelly
I'll totally do it.
Yeah, we're all gonna do it here.
You came in last night.
Yeah.
You're eating something. You had a little sweat going. Are you going to be in on this Ludicrous sauce?
I'm going to be in on this Ludicrous.
All right, so we're going to do that. We're going to wait a bit because if this is as bad as I've been told, I want to be able to do the show. So we're gonna do that a bit at the end.
Talk.
And I need to be able to speak in I don't know if this is going to be the worst thing that's ever happened to me or not. So we'll see. What am I going to die?
Exactly.
I don't
you went
see
through
that
tough
happening.
You'll be fine.
Happen.
Oh my God, Ava is going to be so mad if I die eating chicken wings.
We're just gonna have snot
really wings.
coming out
That's
of our
what killed
noses.
you.
It'll be fine.
Yeah. All right.
Fine.
So in terms of Briere's just first year here now,
yes,
his first trade deadline I think was a success. I go back to the Provorov trade. We talked about signing Hathaway and Paling earlier in the show. There's the whole Tony DeAngelo thing where it looked like they were going to trade him and the league wouldn't let him. And then it turned out, I can actually save more money if I buy him out, and did that and still got Massimo Rizzo in another trade for a guy who ain't coming back to the NHL in one of the Kasha brothers. I don't remember which one we had. At the beginning of August, he extended Sam Harrison's contract, which might end up being the best contract he ever hands out in his tenure as the Flyers. And that's not to say he's going to hand out bad ones, but right now, they have a number one goalie taking them to the playoffs, and the next 2 years he's at 1.45 AAV.
Pretty good.
Seems good to me.
Yes.
He's made some other smaller moves along the way.
I mean, but even
are you excited about what's next for Danny Briere? So far, it has been a resounding success.
Yes.
Even the Oliver Bonk pick, when we were told what it was, a lot of other people wanted some other things.
People were upset about that pick.
Gabe Perreault, I think, was the one everyone wanted. And then it's he's at BC. That might not be the best idea.
Nope.
A year
Good
later,
thinking.
6-8 months later, we find out, that was probably really good that we didn't do that. But even taking that out, what we were told about Oliver Bonk is he's not a stay-at-home defenseman, but he's defensively responsible and isn't going to put up the big numbers. Now, I don't know if he's going to be a rover playing the bumper in the NHL on the power play, but I don't know, man. It's a skill set, and he's got it. Find an open space in the middle of the ice on the power play, something this team right now could very badly use. It's a skill set, and if his time in the OHL is any indication, he can do it. And now they have 4 more firsts over the next 2 years. It's hard not to be excited about what Danny B has done so far.
That, and I am really excited for this summer. I feel like the Flyers are going to be super active. I feel like the draft is probably going to be a real party for us. I really think that they're going to do some stuff at the draft. And if nothing else, I no longer have like the overwhelming feeling of dread where it's like, oh no, what are they going to do? Like which, and I know everyone loves him because he's a sweet boy, but which Sam Moran are they going to take with this pick in the draft? You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, I no longer worry that the default option is going to be the bad one for this team. Because at every turn so far, Danny Briere has shown me he's going to make the smart choice. And that makes me excited because there's a lot to be done. And knowing that he's the one that's going to be doing it, I think it's going to be fun.
You know what? Like, I think one of the big things in sports, if you're building a team, is finding that identity. And what Danny did heading into the season is build that identity. And especially some of those signings like we talked about before, your Palings, your Hathaways, your Walkers, all those guys had a chip on their shoulder and all fit into the Torts type of system. Mm-hmm. And besides all like the sneaky good stuff that Briere has been able to do to set up that culture, I mean, guys, it's been hectic as well. I mean, the Cutter coach, obviously, like he walked into, like he knew the Cutter situation.
William.
He knew the William coach, yeah, and we knew about the Carter Hart situation as well. But that's also very stressful to deal with in your first season.
Oh, sure.
And he's handled it with flying colors. So, you know, on the ice, off the ice, what Danny's been able to do for this team has been spectacular, and it's night and day. As far as the front office this year, between last year and this year,
yeah.
It's completely changed, and it's the reason why we're heading in the right direction, and we're ahead of schedule, Bill.
I wonder what the schedule really is.
I thought for sure we were ahead, but after the William stuff and the Hart stuff, it's a little.
I think Jamie Drysdale has a ton of tools.
Yeah,
also,
he's got to put them together.
This guy gets hurt.
Yeah, getting top-end talent is tough, but don't you think that the culture we have set, when young players do come in, it's a good environment to build
absolutely.
and grow?
Sure.
I do believe they are setting a culture for the future. I just, like we talked about this last night, the Nick Seeler signing to me is, I don't know if it's an indication of, well, yeah, we're probably going to trade Scott Laughton. We need one of those kind of guys around. But, like, I think it's an indication that they believe there's probably still tough times ahead.
Yeah.
And to help us navigate through, they might stink next year and then make the playoffs the year after, and then maybe there's a bottom out year, and then finally, things are great. Who knows? I think it's kind of going to be up and down, and to help navigate through those up and down times so that a bad stretch doesn't, turn the team to rubble like it has in the past. It was not that long ago, March of 2020, and I realize a lot has changed since since those times, but they were going to win the cup, in our minds. And
I was so sure.
And the things that have happened since then, and the leadership has been a question. I feel like the Nick Seeler thing is kind of an indication. Yeah, the next few years, it might not be as good as this year, and we need a guy to help keep this room together as we navigate that. So I don't know how far ahead of schedule they are, but I do think they're doing this the right way, even though it's not the way I would do it. I think they're doing it in a way that's going to work ultimately. I just don't know how soon.
I don't want to get into this conversation all the way, but I just don't think that the bottoming out strategy for rebuilding was ever in the cards, just because the Flyers have too many good players.
Oh.
Were you going to trade Farabee?
That's
no. Were you going to they have too many good players.
And they're in that sub 25 range. So
right.
Unless you were going to sell TK, there ain't no one worth anything in that in prime now.
Exactly.
You re-signed Owen Tippett because that's a good move.
Yeah. And people are pissy that they're making the playoffs. What do you want them to do? Force the Devils to win games? There's nothing they can do about being in the
Yeah.
Even when they were trying to fall out of the playoffs, they couldn't.
Briere is currently addressing the media.
Oh.
Okay.
And I just saw this tweet from Charlie. Twitter's horrible for the,
Remember when it was
keeps
good?
Taking me to the For You tab. Why would I want tweets from yesterday on
Not
a day in which I
today.
need things that are about now? It's just horrible. Anyway, Briere says, this is from Charlie, Briere says that Gurianov will start on the NHL roster. He'll get a look, apparently. That's interesting.
It's interesting about Jack John. Oh, no, sorry, I misread. It was Johansson. Okay, he said the reports were that. Okay, it was 7 seconds ago. But yeah, no, that is definitely interesting here. So, I mean, I guess they really do want to see what they can get. I mean, maybe he'll be a depth piece there. Maybe a healthy scratch here and there as well. I would be curious to see if they do bring up Bobby Brink here in these next couple games as well.
I would like to see Brink make his way back into the lineup at some point. I'm getting this quote from, where is it? From Dylan Robillard, Danny on acquiring Garyanov. He's interesting, big left winger. He had an interesting playoff run a couple years ago.
Yeah.
If he catches fire again, he brings us speed and size. Allison needed a change of scenery for his development, wanted to give him a chance to kickstart his career again. And I'm trying to find the, where are you, NHL playoff stats. There we go. Oh, he was with Dallas, 2019-20.
He was good for them.
27 games, 9 goals, 8 assists in that playoff run that Dallas made. So that's definitely something. And he is a big guy, 6'3", 205. It is really funny that, like, over 200 is big in today's NHL. When we grew up, it was like, there's motherfucking
240.
Oh, I'm not supposed to curse today.
Oh, shit. I've cursed like so many times. Oh, no.
It's fine. No one can hear us. There's not a huge crowd standing in front of us or anything. We grew up in a time where it was like, there's 240-pound linebackers out there.
Yeah.
It's wild at times.
And now it's like, Garyanov gives a size. He's 6'3", but like 205. Oh, he's big and physical. Like,
Yeah.
All right. Cool. But no, I like, flipping Wade Allison for someone who's going to get an immediate look in the NHL, or at least be on the NHL roster. He's going to practice at least. Coach is going to get a look at him. That's a good move. I have a different view of. I thought it was just kind of like, I don't want to say you're trash for my garbage because I don't want to put these players down. Yeah. But kind of, I assumed it was, well, we don't want this guy and you don't want that guy, so okay.
You know what it reminded me of, Bill?
Uh-huh.
It reminded me of like the Brandon Lemieux deal a little bit because they did want to see some of Lemieux last year.
That is a good comparison.
Garyanov, we're trying to see what we have here, and there's a possibility that he does have something left. But I will say this:
little John Druce playoff run in him.
I will say this, man. That bubble in 2020 was an anomaly, man. So there was a lot of weird things.
Wild. I mean, I was thinking about. I tweeted this out the other day. So that's the last time the Flyers were in the second round.
That's right.
They won 3 games. It goes 7. All 3 were in overtime. They got swept in 2011. In 2012, they won 1 game in the second round. It was overtime. They haven't won in regulation past the first round since 2010.
We're getting old here, Phil. Come on, guys.
It's the playoffs. Regulation. It's not like the regular season where you're like, well, it's not a different game. Like, it's just the same game continued.
See, when you lay
it's
things
really
out like
crazy
I
that
don't
it's been
like them.
13 seasons.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, man.
And we'll see if they win.
Whole lifetime.
We'll see if they get to the second round this year. We'll see if they win a game or whatever. But it's just very funny to lay things out that way. But those 2020 playoffs were really, really funny. All right, let's get to the rest of the league for a little bit. Let's kind of look at. I want to look
with this Johansson.
I want to the Johansson thing. I just want answers. I want answers about Ryan Johansson.
I've crafted an entire story in my head.
Like, maybe they just don't like him. They're like, nah, we're good. Like, it might be as simple as that.
Do you think that they tried to Torts was like, nah, and then they tried to trade him and they couldn't, and then Briere was like, we couldn't trade him. Like, what do you want us to do now? And Torts was like, fucking stick him down there. I'm never playing him.
My belief is they brokered that Hannafin deal to pick up that 5th in order to flip that to someone to get another team to retain his salary like they did with Provorov in LA.
Okay.
Because they don't want to take up the retention slots.
Yeah.
So maybe if we get a 5th and maybe something else, we can trade that to a team.
Okay.
And they'll retain, and then he can go wherever. This is just something I made up in my head. I don't know.
I'm just making up stories.
It ended up not happening. He's still here. We'll see what transpires now. But I want resolution. I want answers. Let's look at
real quick.
What do you got?
Saravelli did put out that the Flames still have 1 trade in the queue. That was about a minute ago.
Interesting.
In the queue. What is the
queue?
fucking queue?
You're American. Saravelli, you're American. No Q.
You're from... Is he from Delco? He might be.
We're talking about being excited for the Flyers playoff run, everything that's happening in the future. We're looking forward to the draft, but man, there's still some really fun games coming up, and I can't think of a game more fun than next Thursday at the
Leafs,
Wells Fargo
baby.
Center. It is
Hell
our
yeah.
takeover, baby. Flyers, Leafs. It's also Pearl Jam night at the Wells Fargo
Yes.
Center. It's going to be an awesome time, and you can hang out with us. You can hang out with the PHLY Flyers crew. All you have to do is go to allphly.com/events and get your tickets for Flyers, Leafs. The takeover is going to be awesome. Hang out with some diehards. Hang out with me. Hang out with Kelly. Charlie will be there, but like, who wants to hang out with Charlie? Freaking nerd.
Everybody.
That freaking. He is like everyone. Charlie is like.
Charlie is the best.
Everyone
Yes.
loves Charlie.
He's
so
awesome.
nice. He's the sweetest
He
boy.
is just the nicest guy.
Well, my lower level ticket, will they let me come up to the assembly room?
Yeah, I think so.
Do they care?
What are they going to stop you from
That's true.
having a worse ticket?
Just check 'em like
I
Garden
don't want to
Hathaway,
say. I
Cal.
just
Come
mean
on,
like
you
a
got it.
less expensive ticket. You know, like I don't think that's going to be the case. So make sure you come out to our takeover at the center. I called it the center, not the Farg.
That was weird.
That's weird for me.
They shouldn't call it the Wachovia.
Can we cut that part? It's too late? No? Okay.
I was calling it the big joint for a while because that's what Vinny the Crumb called it.
yeah.
For a long time, and then it was, I don't know who came up with the Farg, but I always credit RG3.
Yeah.
Or RG3.
I think
I
of
always
him,
credit
yeah.
Ryan Gilbert when
think it was
we
him.
were real drunk after a game once, and we come out and he just goes, "The Farg is everything right now." I think it was that trade deadline where we
fairly sure it was
the Sons of Penn trade deadline where we all took off work and covered it. And then nothing happened, so we just got hammered in Dave Katai's basement, and then went to the game that night. They beat the Flames, I think, or maybe
What a
Tampa Bay.
day.
But it was.
That sounds like
So
fun.
I always credit RG3
Yeah.
with the Farg.
So we're doing that today, right? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, we could. What do they play tomorrow? Yeah,
We're going on a bender, guys.
All right, let's finally look out west.
Let's do
Let's
it.
do it.
Man, teams absolutely loaded up. Like we saw what the Avs did. They bring in Sean Walker. They bring in Casey Middlestat. They also forward Yakov Trenin, Brandon Duhaime, the basically a fighter from Minnesota. They bring in. He's a penalty killer, tough guy, not just a fighter. But you know what I mean. They really load up. Edmonton Oilers go get Troy Stetcher, Adam Henrique, Sam Carrick. Winnipeg brings in Toffoli. They made some moves earlier with, what was it, Monahan. The Western Conference playoffs are going to be awesome. And of course, Vegas has
your
every good
popcorn ready.
player I didn't name.
Every good player. I'm so upset that those games start so late.
Seriously.
They're going to be real good. It's wild to me the way that the Eastern Conference, Western Conference thing flips every now and again. And now the Western Conference is like, it's just, I don't know how any of those teams beat each other, and I don't know how any team in the East beats any of them
It's gonna be a
in the
gauntlet.
final.
Yeah, like Florida goes on that run last year. And listen, everyone's hurt. Like Kachuk couldn't get himself out of bed. They're saying like he's basically being dressed, and somehow he then goes and plays NHL playoff hockey. You know?
Insane people.
But like they're all hurt. They had nothing left in the tank from their run. They were in the playoff. Like they were playing playoff games 2 months before the playoffs started, basically to get in.
Yeah.
They ran out of gas, and Vegas is a wagon, as the kids say. So that just kind of was what it was. But like. The Western Conference this year is going to be a fight.
Yeah.
Like it is going to be very interesting to see who comes out of there. And should we get some picks going?
Who do you want it to be?
Who do I want? Well, the Avs are my go-to Western Conference team.
Yes, I love them.
And I was thinking like, well, no, but I don't. Or we have the first round pick. Oh no, it's next year, so it doesn't matter if they win this year. And since it's so hard to go back to back, maybe it's actually better if they win this year. And then maybe they have a down year next year and things work out for the Flyers. It's maybe pick 17 or something. I doubt that's going to happen. The Avs are awesome. But hard not to go with the Avs for me, but
It really is.
Vegas is just, if Mark Stone comes back healthy, like if they get their guys back healthy plus their additions, I don't see anyone beating the Vegas Golden Knights.
My question for the West: when is it McDavid's time?
When they give him good players that aren't Draisaitl. Like, they still need defense and they still need competent goaltending.
they've been tearing it up as of late, though.
They have. That's because they have Connor McDavid.
I do get curious about Edmonton just because of that factor. Because at some point, like, Connor's got to play in a Stanley Cup final at least. But like Dallas has been really strong all year, and I mean, obviously, it was a couple years that they were in that final. So I do definitely look at Dallas right now, looking at that second spot. But I mean, like, guys, we look at 1 through 5. Then obviously you got to look at the Golden Knights. I mean, it's going to be an absolute gauntlet in the Western Conference this year. It's going to be fun to watch.
It really is. And I'm just looking, was it last year or 2
Hill
years
has a
ago?
920. I don't know if I can go against Vegas. I know all the smart people are still picking Dallas. I was just thinking in my head, like, wait, who does Vegas have in goal? And it's a person called Aiden Hill. It's definitely a guy.
He just came out of nowhere last year.
I know. He came out of nowhere.
I know.
But he's got a 920. He's got a 920.
And that's the other thing is they acquire all these awesome players, and they also have dudes just become something out of nowhere in the absolutely wildest ways. And I always do have the Oilers in the back of my mind because it is like they're gonna get one. You
when
win
you
with
have
those
that
guys.
he can at any point pick up the entire roster.
I go back to 2 years ago when they ran into the Avs in the West Finals.
Yeah.
And they get swept 4-0. In those playoffs, McDavid, 33 points in 16 games. Draisaitl, 32 points in 16 games.
Ridiculous.
16 games, 65 points between two guys. They got to the West Final and didn't win a game in that series. Now, that Colorado team was destined to win.
They were probably
on
very
a mission.
tired.
They were never going to lose.
Yeah.
You ready for this, Bill?
Oh my God. All right. So, is this like...
We got to put our money where
what
our
is
mouth's
about to
at.
happen?
They've cleared out the restaurant.
Bill,
So,
Kelly, it was an honor doing this with you.
All right.
I had a lot of fun.
We are here live at the Chicken or the Egg.
Can I have a flat?
We're here at the Chegg in Marlton, New Jersey.
Can we get some napkins?
In prep. Oh, that smells really, really hot. In preparation for this show, I checked out the menu a few days ago, and I saw that they had like 18 different sauces, which is right up my alley. And
Thank you.
at the very top of their wing-a-meter, there's something called Ludicrous sauce. And I said something stupid, apparently, that I would eat one of these on the air. We're gonna do it now. After I was advised not to do it by people who've been here many times, the best way to get me to do something dumb is tell me not to. So, there are now people watching intently. Everyone's just kind of been listening. Everyone's just kind of been listening for a little, having conversations. And now a crowd has formed around us, and we actually have someone at the bar eating one as well. You are a diehard, my friend. All right, so guys,
we got some napkins
there's like
coming
15
here.
minutes.
Napkins, thank God.
There's like 15 minutes left in the show. We'll see if we can even do it after this happens. I don't know if this is kind of a letdown. Do I act?
No.
Oh my God, this is so spicy.
I don't think it's going to be a letdown based on everyone's face.
All right, I'm just gonna go right into it.
All right.
It's like a Band-Aid, Bill.
I like a flat, but the flats look hotter.
Are we wing or flat people?
I'm a flat.
I go back and forth. I think it depends on the wing. And are we blue cheese or ranch people?
Blue
Blue
cheese.
cheese all the way.
Huh. I like crumble blue cheese. They go on a sandwich.
Okay.
But as a dip, I like ranch.
Okay.
All right, guys. It's been a pleasure doing this with you. Happy trade deadline day. Our first.
Go Flyers.
Thank you, my friend.
Cheers, buddy.
Let's do it.
Oh, you can taste that heat.
Oh man.
Don't let it hit your lips.
It's not that bad.
Okay.
No, it's up to hot.
It gets you a little on the back end.
All right.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm not dying.
Oh, there it is. I don't know how I'm going to finish this show.
You want me to take over?
They're really tasty, though. I want more, and I am in pain. I am in tremendous pain right now.
It's definitely hot.
Kelly, are you just dealing with it?
I think it's good.
Oh, it's cheating with the blue cheese.
Just got the blue cheese.
Oh, you're going blue cheese.
That was the first one.
Oh, man. Oh, dude. I do not recommend this. I do not recommend this to anybody.
Definitely feeling the heat.
Oh, wow. Need more beer. Thank God. Mountain's Blue, Coors Light.
That's how you chill, guys.
When you need to chill with Coors Light. I am in tears. Thank you for joining us in this little mission of ours to ruin the end of the show. So as we wrap things up here, because are you fine?
I'm totally fine.
This is fucking insane. I'm sorry. I'm not supposed to curse again today.
Guys. Woo. I need both of you to
This burns tremendously. Something's the matter with you.
Well, I mean, yes.
There is something seriously the matter with you if this is not the spiciest thing you've ever had.
It's
Not
tingling.
the spiciest, but it's definitely spicy.
I'm all right, though.
No, I'm good.
Just lick the blue cheese. You'll be fine.
Just
All right, so
take a shot.
We're talking about our Stanley Cup picks, I guess.
I'm going Vegas, too. I'm doing it.
Vegas and who, Kelly?
The Flyers, obviously.
I'm gonna go Edmonton, Carolina. I think it's gonna be a wacky Stanley Cup final.
Edmonton, Carolina.
That's
Man,
my
the league,
wackiness.
forget about the cap going up.
I don't like that because that means the Flyers are out the first round.
Oh man.
I have tremendous faith in the Flyers going on this run. End of the day, though, Carolina's really fucking good. Mm-hmm. You're eating more?
It's good, dude.
This is disgusting.
Who?
Devon had 2.
Oh my God. Devon's a warrior.
I am dying. I am going to pick Vegas over the Rangers.
I don't know. It seems like you're feeling the
Rangers.
Calgary
Yeah, I'm
Flames
just picking
there.
the Rangers because I can't think of another Eastern Conference team right now. My brain is on fire.
Oh man. This was fun.
Oh, thank God for the Coors Light. Thank
guys are
God
the
for
best.
the sponsor. I can't believe what is happening to you right now.
You
are
sweating.
completely unaffected.
My
I might
lips are
drop
tingling.
dead. This might be it for me. This is the last time Bill's hosting PHLY because he's going to die.
I was really glad to know you.
Yeah.
Oh, man. No, I can't go till they win a cup. I got to just
You gotta
survive till the
survive,
cup.
yeah.
Because I got to go at the parade.
Could you go after? Because I don't want you to mar my memories of the parade.
He
So, like,
went
maybe,
out doing what he loved.
That's true.
Climbing poles naked.
I thought you were
On an
climbing the
obscene amount
poles
of-
in a dog furry suit. Is that
Oh,
what
that's
I
right.
heard?
Yeah, I got told to climb it in the furry suit last
Yeah.
night. Yeah, on an obscene amount of narcotics. Climbing poles in a dog suit. Oh, man. This is ridiculous. I can't believe how hot this is. And it's not going away. It's like no
It does
milder than
linger.
it was 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, it lingers.
Do you have to let it linger?
I think I'm starting to get under control.
I think you're doing a really fine
But
job.
this show has gone off the rails. I'm glad we did this, and thank you to everyone here at the
Yes,
Chicken or the
thank
Egg.
you guys.
Yes,
Thank
those
you for
rules.
coming out to the Chick to join us. PHLY fam, love you guys. Hope to see you all at the game on Thursday. I think I'm going to be able to make it if I'm not in the hospital from this
Don't buy
ludicrous
Will
sauce.
any wings.
I can't believe that you're just
Will.
totally unaffected by this.
My mouth is tingling.
Yeah, it is sting a little bit.
But they aren't that hot.
They're not that hot.
They're not that hot.
There's
I'm
something
worried
about
about Kelly.
what is hotter
Can
than
we
this?
just
Do
get
you
fire for
regularly-
Kelly? Just straight
Do
fire.
you regularly eat something spicier than this?
I mean,
We can get the actual hot one sauce.
Oh my God.
is that supposed to be hot, way
Oh my
hotter?
God.
Hot?
We are
Okay.
good to close when I can't think. I have to read out loud. I'm being told we can wrap up whenever I want.
This is a good way for you to go out. People will
man.
remember this show.
That's how we do here at PHLY, ladies and
My
gentlemen.
sinuses
My
feel
brain
clear.
was not going to send the message. I
Yeah.
had to hear myself say it to know what that wrote. Thank you,
At least
Bryn.
your sinuses are good right now.
Yeah, you did great.
Yeah, I was unable to breathe through my nose for a couple of days 2 weeks ago, and now I don't think that's
Totally
ever going to be
fine
a
now.
problem
Just
again.
get the ludicrous. I think Bill, if I'm not mistaken, if you guys are crazy enough too, they do have it here at Chicken and the Egg.
You should come here though. This place is cool.
Yeah, if you
Great
have an
food.
enemy, buy the ludicrous sauce and put it in their underwear drawer.
If you got a Penguins, Devils,
Oh.
Rangers friend,
In your
this
underwear,
is where you come.
it would be a problem.
Ludicrous. You got
All
a
right.
loot on them.
Well, it has been an absolute blast here at our live trade deadline show here at the Chicken or the Egg in Marlton. Thank you very much to the Jeg. Thank you to everyone who
Yes.
came out. And thank you so much to my co-hosts, J.P. Zapata and Kelly Hinkle, who had the decency to show up on such a huge day for us, while Charlie is passed out at Club La
At
Vila
spring
right
break.
now.
Yeah.
Charlie's definitely tan right now.
I'm told Club La Vila was destroyed in a hurricane years ago. It does not exist anymore. But it was always a dream of mine to go there, so whenever I make fun of Charlie, I say he's there. I can't even think straight anymore.
You're doing
so thanks
great.
to all of our sponsors, the people who are here, everyone around the world. Peace on earth, goodwill.
No more hot ass.
My name is Bill Matz. Follow us at PHLY_Flyers on Twitter, wherever there are podcasts, PHLY Flyers, right here on the YouTube. Set your reminders. And we have a pregame show tomorrow. We'll be before the game and after. Pregame show brought to you by our friends at Coors Light. All right, that's it. I'm done. Let's go home.
We all silly like the mayor.